Devil's lettuce, wacky tobacco, whatever you want to call it. This has been a thing, at least recently in Thailand, that has been quite a big deal, but it's looking like things might be changing. What do we know? What's gonna go away and what's gonna remain? Let's find out. How you doing, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to day 389 of trying to find my wife in Thailand. Shit, wrong video. Unless you're living under a rock, you might know that things are looking like they might change on the very near horizon for Thailand when it comes to the smokables. I spent all this morning cruising through as many articles as I could find to try to nail down what we know so far, what's kind of speculation, what it's looking like is really gonna happen. So that's what we're gonna go over in today's video. Is the fun broccoli still gonna be on the menu in Thailand? Now, you may or may not know that in 2018, Thailand became the first country in all of Asia, I'm pretty sure, but Southeast Asia especially, to decriminalize the use of bud. Then flash forward to 2022 and things became fully legal. They started implementing things. And pretty much in 1 year, the industry has completely blown up. You can't walk more than 1 block without finding 3 or 4 different weed shops. It is absolutely everywhere. Only place I've ever been that might be somewhat comparable is Los Angeles. But in all reality, it's even more prominent here. But in the past 6 months or so, some things have been brewing, some talks have been floating around, and it's looking like there will at least be an attempt to pull back some of the ease of access when it comes to weed in Thailand. After reading a ton of articles, a lot of them pretty much say all the same shit, which honestly isn't really that much. But the one I'm going to be referencing for this video comes from The Guardian. And pretty much the gist of it is Thailand's new Prime Minister, Trey Bivens, God, I probably murdered that, sorry, has said his government will rectify its cannabis policy and limit its use to medical purposes within 6 months. Now, this article came out about 2 months ago. I don't know exactly when that statement was made, but if all this does happen, it does seem like it's gonna happen much sooner rather than later. Then it goes on to say that even though Thailand was the first country in Southeast Asia to legalize, unfortunately they're kind of realizing that they didn't put enough infrastructure into the laws before things became legal, and this has just kind of made this vacuous market where honestly not too many things are regulated. Now, even though I'm all about free market and I love when people are kind of trusted to do what they want to do, when it comes to that industry, I do believe that a few regulations are good for a few different reasons. One of the main ones, obviously, you can kind of gatekeep kids that are younger. You can make sure it's people of the proper age getting access to it. Then another one that I learned in America, where I come from in the States, it's actually legal to possess and grow plants. And when I went down the huge rabbit hole of growing, I kind of learned a lot about what can happen to plants if they're not taken care of or processed properly. Everything from bugs to mold to other kinds of contaminants, and especially if you're using pesticides and things like that, and then people are ingesting that later down the road, it can be really bad for you. And in America, luckily, I know it kind of sucks for the people, but there are quite a few hoops to jump through before you can sell stuff in dispensaries, and one of those is lab checks to make sure it doesn't have any dangerous pesticides, any types of mold that can hurt people. So I think that's a really good idea, honestly. And in turn, that kind of does help the industry because it makes the quality of everything just a lot better, and it forces people to learn proper and just safe techniques. Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's just like food. It's something that's going into your body, so you want to make sure there's not a bunch of dangerous, gross shit in there, right? Now, the dark side to this, if it does go through, unfortunately, I'm sure there is a lot of people that will be put into positions where they might not be able to keep operating, or it will cost so much to get everything that they need that they might not be able to do it down the road. And that does suck. I completely understand why that would be rough for people. But honestly, in this one, I would have to play devil's advocate and say that safety and regulation in this sense is probably a good idea. And unfortunately, it is one of those industries where you have to pay to play. It's expensive to get into it if you want to do it right, but the rewards on the other side can be super beneficial if you do it the right way. So as of right now, it does kind of seem like everybody's in somewhat of a holding pattern, waiting to see what's actually going to happen, kind of similar to the new tax laws coming in Thailand. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of information out there right now. But if this is something you're interested in partaking in when you get to Thailand, it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on, because obviously if you get here and it's not like it is now, where you have to jump through some hoops and make sure you're all legit, you definitely don't want to get caught with something that you're not supposed to have in Thailand. Now, we'll make sure to keep you guys updated on how things seem to be going, but as of right now, it seems like this is something that's probably going to happen. Now, from what I can understand, everything that I read, they're kind of just leaning towards pushing everything back towards medical use, which if it's anything like it is in America, that's still a pretty open book. So that's not to say if it is something you need, especially for health reasons, that you won't have access to it. If this is something that you're keeping up with and you've managed to find some more factual places with a little bit more information, feel free to drop it down below. I know a lot of you guys are interested in this. And thank you so much for tuning into another video. I will catch you guys in the next one.